Can you really live in Bangkok with only $600 a month, let alone a couple? My wife and I decided to put this to a test. In this video, I'm giving you the complete, ultimate breakdown of every single dollar we spent and tell you honestly who this budget works for and who will struggle. For 6 months, we had to use this pool of money of $600 a month to live. After we came from Vietnam and then we landed in Bangkok, the numbers, well, they got a bit interesting. So let's get to it. The summer, we on our way. Let's start talking about something that's gonna break or make your budget, which is the rent. We knew for a fact that living in Bangkok, in the city center, in places like Sukhumvit or Ratchathaiwi, it would be basically impossible. We cannot rent anything for less than $500 or $600 over there. After 4 or 5 days of searching online, especially in a website called Rent Hub, we found a place in the greater Bangkok in the north. It wasn't an amazing place. It was more like a student area, but we could find a 1-bedroom apartment. Our rent came with 4,000 baht, except utilities, but it was included the Wi-Fi. So it was a good deal. 4,000 baht is more or less $133. So we had now around $467 for the next 30 days. So the apartment was really basic. And there were no amenities like even a swimming pool. I'm not saying infinite swimming pool, but the basic swimming pool there wasn't. There was a small gym, but with very old equipment. I basically never used them. Even sockets in the apartments was something really hard to find. For example, even here in this room that I have here right now, that I am right now, in our bedroom, we have more sockets than in the apartment we had in Thailand. But for us, I mean, we don't really have to live in the apartment every day. I spent most of my days in cafes or outdoors, like because I work remotely. And my wife sold food outdoors as well in the morning. So we basically went home for maybe having dinner and sleeping. The next thing are the utilities. In Bangkok or Malaysia or Vietnam, like in Thailand in general, the biggest wild card is the electricity. And we got quite surprised because most people say the electricity in Bangkok is really expensive, but we paid only 1,450 baht a month, which is around $47. And we had the AC basically on from the evenings, like maybe 5 or 6 p.m. until the morning, which was like 7 or 8 a.m. And it was basically turned on without any, pause or without turning off. And on the weekend, sometimes we stayed home because we just wanted to relax or do nothing, right? So we have the AC basically from morning, like 24/7. So it was really cheap, in my opinion, because I cannot say the same in many other places in the world, especially in Vietnam, because it can be really expensive. So I got quite surprised for the best. And the best thing is we never had to rely on fans. Water, in my opinion, was quite expensive, but I think there was a leak. So we had to pay an average of 500 baht a month, which is around $17 to $20. And we basically showered. We only had like showers or, flush the toilet or maybe just a little bit of water to wash the apartment or to clean everything. But I don't think this justifies 500 baht. I think there was a leak that wasn't informed to us. So that's why I think it was a bit more expensive. I mean expensive because for this type of condominium, for this type of apartment, it should be much cheaper. We had the Wi-Fi included, but still I decided to top up internet, like mobile data, because when we went out, or maybe because the internet was really bad in the apartment, the Wi-Fi was really bad, or not working, we had to rely on data. So I paid around 300 baht. So my wife has a SIM card from Thailand. All right, so we have like 4,000 baht of the rent, 1,450 from the electricity, 500 from the water, and 300 from the internet plan, from the mobile plan. That's a total of 6,250 baht, which is around $208. And we had now 390 to 390 something dollars for the transportation, for food, and for having a life. Life is not only about eating and sleeping and, working. We have to go out and have a good life since we are in Thailand, yes? So let's see how we manage the rest of the money. Let's talk about the groceries. If you have a Western diet, you're gonna have a lot of problems in Thailand or Southeast Asia in general because these type of products such as sausage, even alcohol. In Thailand, alcohol is not as cheap as people say. So this is a budget killer. I'm not a big fan of European food. In South America, we have basically a similar diet to many people in Southeast Asia. For example, we eat a lot of rice and we eat like pork, chicken, beef, potatoes, salad, and so on. Even spicy food in some places, spicy food is a thing. And mostly we relied on the Thai supermarkets, the Thai big chains like Big C, CJ, Lotus, or Lotas, as like the Thai people they say. And we have even, especially if you want to buy meat and vegetables, the local vendors, the local shops, they have much cheaper varieties. For example, if we went to Lotus, yes, to Lotus supermarket, we buy 1 kilo of chicken from 110 baht a kilo, which is not that expensive. It's like $3, $4. But if you buy in the local seller, it's like 75 baht, and that's a bargain because it's $2.5 or even $2 depending on the currency rate. So of course we used to buy with the local people. We didn't starve and we didn't limit ourselves when talking about food, but we cooked most of the time. We used to eat out, for example, during the work days, maybe for lunch, but for breakfast and dinner, we used to cook at home. Only when we were feeling lazy or was the weekend, we were sick, so then of course we have to eat out. Because in Thailand, that's something very good about Thailand is that you have restaurants, food everywhere. We were very lucky because we lived in a street that there was like this main road, and we have like 4 7-Elevens, we have one Big C, one CJ, one Lotus, and you have like thousands and thousands, I mean, not thousands of course, but like hundreds or dozens of restaurants, like local restaurants. They sell Thai food, they sell Japanese food, they sell Chinese food. So we realized that if we went to Bangkok to eat, for example, like Arab food or really good Italian pizza or something like this, we got a bit, whoa, that's not very nice because we would spend with everything included. Since we live a bit far from Bangkok, we had to spend maybe 1,000 baht or 1,200. This already took a lot of amount from our budget. So it was kind of a shame because, well, I think we can afford one date night or one night out in a very good place, but we couldn't go, for example, to rooftops or nightclubs. And nightclubs is okay because me and my wife, we don't really like, going out to nightclubs. My wife doesn't drink alcohol at all. I drink maybe once a month, like a can of beer, or that's it. So maybe twice a month, a can of beer, just to relax, just to drink a little bit. But I can live without alcohol. We had to decide, for example, to choose to go to places where you don't actually have to pay entrance ticket or we don't have to spend a lot of money. For example, we used to go to parks or maybe have a picnic or go to maybe, for example, we used to live very close to Ayutthaya. Not in Ayutthaya, but on the way to Ayutthaya. So about transportation, renting a motorbike would be really expensive on the long run because it would cost around 300 baht a day, which is like $10 a day. So it's gonna be like, a huge amount of money on the budget. And that's okay because we live near the bus stops, and also from the bus stop you could go to the BTS, to the Sky train system. The bus, it costs around 20 baht or maybe 20 baht per person. So it would be around like, maybe 65 cents of dollar. And we used to take the bus only if you want to go to Bangkok, which is the weekend basically. So we save a lot of money with transportation. We could use a taxi like when we came back from our date night or something like that, because we had no option basically. And tuk-tuk wasn't really a thing unless it was like very short distance, and maybe we got one tuk-tuk in 6 months, because also it's quite pricey and you have to bargain with the tuk-tuk driver. So if you use Grab or Bolt is even better than Grab. Could we afford weekend trips and enjoy Thailand as, like in a good life, or the Thailand as you see in the social media? Yes, but not really. The thing is that I had to save money for my visa run because we have like this 6 months period, and after 90 days I had to go out. I went to Vietnam, to Da Nang, and I stayed around maybe 1 week, and then I came back. Then I spent around, in total, like $150 or $160 so it was quite cheap. 600, we cannot have the life influencers. They live in Thailand or they try to sell to people. For example, we cannot go to restaurants every day, go drink alcohol every day, cannot go to nightclubs every day, like boom boom, massage, smoking cigarettes. And if you have like an addiction like smoking or alcohol, it's impossible. Like then it's literally impossible to live with $600 in Thailand. But we, like I said, we had like this very frugal lifestyle. We just used to live life and then have some small luxuries here and there. For example, we used to go to massage, like Thai massage, maybe every like twice a month. So it was the apogee of our luxury. We were dreaming about visiting the beaches in Koh Tao or Koh Samui, or maybe even go north to Chiang Mai, but we actually couldn't because this would be maybe this very short trip would be maybe 1,000, 3,500 baht for two people. Then it's kind of, we had to rely on going to Pattaya or maybe Hua Hin or go to even, I don't know, like I said, like Ayutthaya. So it's quite okay. It's not like amazing, but it's not like we felt stuck. To end this video, is it possible to live in Bangkok with $600? If you're someone who doesn't need luxury, if you don't need Western food on a regular basis, if you don't go to rooftops, if you don't want to have like this dating scene, like the dating nightlife, style. If you are okay to live a little bit outside of Bangkok, this budget can work. But if you cannot live without this, or you want to have, for example, no, I want to leave my country and I want to have a very good life, then you're gonna have problems. But to be honest, like I said, we were living in two people, like me and my wife, and we have this budget. I think if you are living alone, if you are a single man, if you're a single woman, I think you can live, even if you afford, for example, like a rooftop bar, or maybe twice a month, or like going to nightclubs every weekend. You can go to nightclubs, you spend money on dating, I think it's quite possible, to be honest. But we were living in two. I have to spend money for two people, so that's what we didn't felt like we had lived like counting pennies. But of course we couldn't just live in a very great apartment, and we couldn't do whatever we want whenever we wanted. If you have like a medical condition that you have to go to the doctor or to the hospital on a regular basis, or even if you have an emergency, for example, if something happened to us, and thank goodness nothing happened, and I hope we never will, we probably would have to rely on loans or credit cards, or even, I don't know, maybe a GoFundMe campaign. So that's really up to you if you're gonna choose to live life like this. So guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Subscribe if you think this content was useful for you, especially in your decision making, so why not? And see you in the next video. Happy trails.
From the curb to the clouds, we just follow that sound. Little street, big sky, see the world through my eyes. Corner store, bus sign, one shot, freeze time. Every step, one frame, every frame, one sign.